This piece started out actually as just a pure conceptual piece, a piece to put in my portfolio. I was probably looking at something on History Channel. They were talking about the Saint Sebastian piece. Basically, this was a guy who was martyred, and the way his martyrdom occurred was he was shot to death by arrows by, I think, the Roman army. And I was reading something about, American West, and it was basically about the fiascos that took place during the whole Manifest Destiny era, where there was sort of a political hard line about advancing the country and getting as much territory as possible by any means necessary. And of course, Custer was the prime example of that. So that it just seemed like a natural sort of blend. I did it as just a standard portrait of Custer in traditional materials. And then I brought it into the computer platform, and that's where I added the arrows. My work is applied. I don't really consider myself a fine artist by any means or stretch of the imagination. 90% of what I do is done strictly for a client, and it's to meet those clients' expectations and needs and to communicate their message that they're trying to get across. So the platform for presentation for applied art is the public. And as you know, graphic design covers, it's everywhere. You can't sit down on a bus stop seat without, covering over part of it. We can encounter it in every aspect of our lives in American culture. And that's essentially the area that I work in, and that's my gallery, is the applied world, where it's used for a purpose and to communicate a specific message. Well, I've been doing this, working in graphic design as a grunt in the line, essentially, for 30 years now. This actually is my close to 35th year. Basically, it's just been moving up the food chain. I started out as an illustrator, but I drifted away from that and got more into pure applied design. Worked as an art director, a creative director, of course as a designer as well. And then the last 10 years I've been working here as a teacher in graphic design at the University of Central Florida. But I still keep my own client base going. I stay active in the industry. You have to do that to bring it into the classroom. So you have to put a separate layer, and you have to put an action, a stop action on that layer.
In the scene.
In the scene, yes. I like this deckled edge you've got. I teach most of the advanced level courses. Those are listed as advanced graphic design, special problems in graphic design, advanced computer design. The advanced graphic design is primarily there to introduce the students to campaign-driven elements. And what we do is, as soon as I get them in there, they get handed their first campaign where they have to design collateral material and broadcast material, and that covers a wide spectrum of taking one concept and adapting it to a lot of different delivery systems.
That's the flattest lenticular I think I've ever seen in my life.
Well, because I was trying to get it square.
I try to take each student as an individual. I like to see where their strengths lie. Some students may be much more proficient in typography. Some may be in generating images. The bottom line on all of them, though, is we teach them to think first, because the most important thing is the concept. It has to be clear. It has to communicate. If it gets lost in the visual material, then you failed that client, or you failed your own personal standard. But it has to communicate. I try to get them to explore and explore options. Don't give up after you get one idea. Push that idea further. Take it in an entirely different direction from where you may have started. This is going to be their last opportunity to really do that. And once they get in industry, there's going to be a lot of constraints put to them. And if they have the opportunity to play now, that's going to develop their conceptual skills better, and that's going to make them, again, more valuable to where they go in that organization. Every artist goes through periods of dry spells where creatively they feel like they're not pushing as far as they can. That can lead to one or two directions. One, give up, go into something else, and I see this happen all the time, especially in applied design. The other type of person that comes out of that is someone who is persistent, who stays with it, who finds out the core reason as to why it's not working. And when they come through that other side of that process, they're going to find out they're much more creative than they were before. And just love what you're doing. If you don't, get out of it and get into something else. I think that's the bottom line with any area of design, especially applied, is you have to stay interested in the medium You have to find a way to keep that level of excitement and interest up all throughout a career. If not, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.